Hey, Drew Hutchison here, and I wanted to make a video that I think would be really powerful and helpful for a lot of people. This is a video about relationships and how we view challenges in those relationships. And this can apply to many different situations like romantic relationships, business partnerships, marriages, but ultimately the example that I'm going to focus on here is the relationship between a parent and a child, okay? Because this is a very complex relationship. And I just want to say a couple of things um, about my credentials in this area. I have no children. I have no stepchildren. I've never been a parent, and I don't have a professional degree in this, and I'm not an expert, and I don't really know much, but I have been in this kind of relationship, and also I've seen this kind of relationship in many different situations, so I think it probably comes up a lot, I would imagine, because a lot of people don't know how to handle conflict with a loved one in the appropriate way, and I'm not saying that I do, but I'm just going to give my 2 cents on this topic because I feel like I have a little bit of insight because I've been on the receiving end, the child's end, and and I just want to go ahead and say that like the only reason I'm able to create a video like this is because I've been on that at that end, and I was also treated in a way from my parents with love and acceptance eventually. So let's just start the video off. Um, oh, in relationships, specifically with parent and child, it's a very challenging situation. And once again, I'm not a parent. I don't have a child, right? So I'm just simply going to deliver sort of my philosophy and answer from an objective standpoint, which is what you should really take into account anytime you have a challenge in a relationship like this, because when we view things from an emotional standpoint, it's not really helping things because we're sort of taking our preconceived notions and adding them into a situation that if we viewed objectively, we would definitely problem solve in a different way. So, for example, um, when I was growing up, I love to play video games, right? I love playing video games. I still love playing video games. It's always been a place for me to go and get quiet, get some isolation, a little introspective, a little bit of competition. It's a creative place. You can learn, interact with the community, problem solve, encounter challenges that you might not encounter normally in your everyday life, and it forces you to adapt and grow as a person. I personally am under the impression that video games are great. Like, they're amazing, and without video games, I don't think I'd be able to problem solve or think about things the way at the level that I do that I am now, right? So, when there's a conflict in a relationship, for example, with a parent and a child, um, a lot of times the parent wants to exert their dominance, not intentionally, but they want to control the situation because they feel like they know what's best for their child, right? And I'm not saying that you don't know what's best for your child, okay? But I just want to sort of help you to understand and frame this the right way. So, your child does something that you don't like, plays video games all day, or maybe talks on their cell phone all the time, or doesn't do their homework, or doesn't go to class, or doesn't apply themselves, or maybe is not looking for a job, or maybe just is living at home and not motivated, or maybe doesn't have goals that you know about, or maybe I don't know what other fucking things could bother a parent. You know what I mean? There's probably a million things, right? So when these situations happen, because you're a parent and because you love your child, or you maybe love your child, or you probably love your child, but you want the best for your child, I would hope, regardless, what do? You just Let instincts take over. And instincts say, well, this person is lost, or this person is experiencing a challenge. I know the solution. I know the solution to this challenge. So all I gotta do is just tell them what they're doing wrong, and then show them what the right way to do it, and then boom, they're right on the path. They're there. It's perfect, right? It's so easy, right? I just tell them what they're doing wrong, and then show them the right way to do it, and then they can get to the level of success that I know they're capable of. Great, you know? And if that's the way that you view the relationship that you have with your child currently, then there's nothing wrong with you, okay? Because you're just doing the best that you can, and that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing the best that you can. Seriously. Because in your heart, your love is telling you, or whatever you want to define it as, your being is telling you, okay, here's what's happening, and here's what I think should happen, so let's just divert their course for them, right? So a couple of things I want to touch on there. Number one, you're not doing anything wrong, okay? You're just doing your best, and that's all you can ever ask for or hope for. You're just doing your best, okay? The good news is that we can always learn to do better, but you were doing your best beforehand, and there's nothing wrong with that. So we have an opportunity to grow here. If you're open to it, you're more than welcome to grow with me, right? So a couple of things here. Number one, in my opinion, it is 1,000,000 trillion times better for your child to find their path than have their path brought to them, okay? Now, this is really challenging for a lot of people in all kinds of relationships, business, you know, romantic, platonic, friendship, you know, child-parent relationships, because you want the best for them, and you want their life to be easy, and you don't want them to go through pain and struggles and challenges. But that's where we learn. We learn by overcoming adversity. There's really no other way to do it. Yeah, there's really no other way to do it, you know? So, couple things I want to touch on there. Number one, you were doing the best you could before you saw this video. So hopefully you're here to learn and get better, because that's what I'm here to teach you. Okay, number two is that you don't have to show somebody the right way to do something, okay? There's an old saying, when the student is ready, the master will appear, you know? You telling your child what to do or how to do it is falling on deaf ears, 100%, 1,000,000%. It's falling on deaf ears. They don't give a shit, okay? They might listen and do what they're told to because you've conditioned them to follow your fucking orders their whole fucking life, and they don't think critically on their own. But how long is that going to last them when they get to the real world and they have to make their own decisions and they can't call on mom and dad the whole time? Or what if you die? You know what I mean? Like, they got to be able to be self-sufficient on their own, okay? Don't spoon feed them their whole lives. That it's okay to go through. I mean, me personally, like, I'm a little bit crazy. I put myself in situations where it's going to be difficult, where I'm going to face hardship, because I know that's the fastest way to learn, right? And I don't want to take the slow way to learn. I want to learn the fast way, which is fail, 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 grow, learn, adapt, do it better, right? But here's something that I've learned. Number one, everybody's on their own path. Like, everybody's on their own path, and everybody's doing their best. And if, you know, my path is 10 miles an hour and Tony Robbins' path is 50 miles an hour, and you feel like your son right now is at half a mile an hour, it's okay, because it is not your journey, okay? You may feel like it's your journey because you helped them, you birthed them, or you were there from their birth, and you grew with them, and you taught them a lot of things, and you watch them grow, and you love them so much, and you want the best for them, and you want them to be the best they possibly can. but I don't know how to make this any clearer. It's not your life. It's not your journey, okay? And that's okay, you know? Because you can wish them the best, and you can try and create a life for them where they never get hurt and they never get pricked or anything like that. Or they might just want to take the soft road, you know? Because some people don't want to take the hard road because it's difficult and there's the unknown and there's adversity and there's failure and there's all these things that, we're supposed to be conditioned to be afraid of. But eventually, they're going to have to start making decisions on their own. So this brings me to the bulk, and this brings me to the point. So I'm glad we're here together. What your child needs, what your business partner needs, what your relationship person needs, what your spouse or lover needs, is the knowledge that what they're doing is perfectly fine and they have your acceptance and love. Period. Okay? If they wanted your advice, if they wanted some help, you would know. Okay? You would know that they wanted your help and they wanted your advice, but what they really need in order to put themselves in a position where they want your help, right? If you want them to be here where they're like, oh my God, let's solve this problem together, right? This is a place where they're open, right? They're very open. They're like, oh my gosh, like, I know that you're here to help me. I know you have my best interest at heart, and I know you're gonna do whatever you can to, help me be successful, right? They're open to you, right? But if the way that you've been handling any kind of conflict with them in the past is by telling them what to do or forcing them to go a certain direction or taking things away from them or not treating them like an equal or not treating their path and their decisions with love and respect, do you think they're at this open place, or do you think they're over here hiding and sheltered from what they've received from you in the past, right? I think we both know the answer. And that's okay, because you're doing great, okay? This is just an opportunity to learn. So ultimately what I'm trying to share with you is that if you truly want to help the person that you're in a relationship with or have a business with, it starts with love and acceptance of who they are, period. And it doesn't fucking matter what you think. It doesn't matter what your view of this is. It doesn't matter if you think it's stupid. It doesn't matter if you think they're wasting time. It doesn't matter. It's not your path. It's not your path. And I don't know how to make that clear enough. I've said it like 6 or 7 times, so hopefully you got it. But it's not your path, right? So the first step that you can do is just accept them, tell them you love them, tell them that you believe that they can do whatever they want to do, and whatever they choose to do is perfectly fine, and they're going to do great at it. And you believe in them, and they're going to be awesome, and it's going to make them happy. And as long as they're happy, you're happy for them, right? And then, with time, it might get to a point where they encounter a challenge, and they might bring that challenge to you because they're at a place where they know that whatever challenge they bring to you, right? Because you're open, whatever challenge that they bring to you, it's okay. It's just they're on their path and they're like, hey, I've come across an obstacle here. And, recently anytime I've talked to you about anything, you've been very accepting and loving, and really just listen to what my challenge is. And I really appreciate that. And actually, because of how attentive and how caring you've been, I feel like you might actually have some insight that I can take into account. So could you help me with this? And that's all you ever wanted, right? You just wanted to be able to help them. But it just starts with the love and acceptance that, hey, whatever they're doing is great. And you're doing the right things, honey, you know? And I love you. And you're going to be great. And I believe in you. And I love you. And I believe in you. And you're going to be great. And if you want to play video games, you can play video games. Right? If you want to play video games, you can play video games. If you want to go start a business, you can start a business. If you want to work at McDonald's and live here, you might even find somewhere else to live. Just giving you an example. Just having a little fun because that was a little bit of a serious topic. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that everything's okay because they're on their own path. Which is fine. They're just looking for acceptance. And what you may find is that this is a battle of attrition insofar that if throughout this video you've come to recognize that maybe in the past some of the interactions that I've had with my family or with my partner or with my business partner created this kind of, instead of openness, it's going to take time to build that trust back up again. It's going to take time to build that trust back up again. But know that the acceptance and the love and the understanding and the unconditional belief that whatever they want to do is going to be great and it's going to be important and necessary for their path, as long as that's communicated, with time you can build that trust back up. It's not going to happen immediately. And it might happen immediately because they just love you so much and they just, all they've ever wanted was just for you to like listen once, right? They just wanted you to listen and believe in them. And I am so thankful for my parents because they believe in me. And, you know, they both, in their own way, tried to motivate me a little bit, but they did it from a safe distance where it's like, hey, if I'm like, listen, fuck off, then they fucked off, you know, and let me get to where I needed to be. And for some people, that happens at 17. And for some people, it happens at 22. And for some people, it happens at 27. And for some people, it happens at 37. And for some people, it happens at 53. And for some people, it happens at 65. And all of those paths are fine. They're all perfectly okay. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no right answer because we're all doing our best. And do you know what it is that transforms you from one path to the another? It's the fucking adversity. It's the hardship, okay? It's the difficulties that we face. So if you try and lead your partner or person or child or whatever to the path they didn't learn, so give them the opportunity to be able to think critically and think at a high level and let them make mistakes. It's all good, you know? Anyway, I hope this has been helpful for you.